The following program is paid for by Lifespan Wealth Management, providing financial advice since 1993. At Lifespan Wealth Management, the main thing they do is provide retirement planning and advice and manage their clients' investment accounts. If you're looking for a financial advisor, contact their office at 478-922-8100 to set up your complimentary consultation. Lifespan Wealth Management has offices in Macon and Warner Robins for your convenience, and you can learn more about them by visiting their website at retirerelax.com. While you're on the site, visit the special report section, which provides great financial education information on many different topics. You can also sign up to receive their digital feeds, which are short videos providing great information relevant to retirement, investing, and matters that affect your money. They also offer seminars to the community at no cost. If you're looking for a guest speaker for your church or civic organization, give them a call to discuss the topics you would like them to cover. Again, their contact number is 478-922-8100. Now, from the Macon studio of News Talk 940 WMAC, it's time for Your Money with Sherry Goss, Randy Goss, Jonathan Eisner, and Corey Albrecht.
Good morning, everybody. It's nice to be back with you today. And as always, thank you for taking time to be with us. It's just me, Randy, and Corey today. Jonathan is still out with his family.
All right. Just a reminder, and I know you've heard a lot about the high-speed rail between Atlanta and Savannah. We talked about this last week, but like I said, it's just a reminder. But right now, local leaders are urging residents in this area to weigh in on the future passenger rail in Georgia, saying public feedback could determine whether Macon is included or left out in the proposed Atlanta to Savannah route. The Georgia DOT is accepting public comments through August 6th as part of the Atlanta-Savannah intercity passenger rail study. This could help Macon continue to grow and hopefully bring more industry to this area, which is a win for everybody. Former Macon Mayor Rickert and the Macon-Bibb County Commissioner Stanley Stewart are encouraging residents to complete the agency's online survey before the comment period closes. The simplest way that we have found to get to the survey is by searching Atlanta to Savannah passenger rail. From there, you'll find the survey. It takes about 10 minutes, and you're not required to put any of your personal information in there other than your email.
This would be huge for us.
It really would.
So I hope everybody goes online and
absolutely
and says yes.
As this is a pre-recorded show instead of a market summary, which would have been wrong by the time you heard it, we decided to give you some interesting facts and anomalies of the U.S. stock market. The sheer scale of the U.S. market has created some fascinating, unique quirks, cultural realities, and historical patterns. First, the S&P 500 is a secretive experiment. In most countries, stock ownership is concentrated among the ultra-wealthy. In the U.S., a record 58% of Americans own stock, largely because of how the country turned the stock market into its primary retirement vehicle through 401k plans. Because of this, the stock market acts almost like a federally backed public utility, making it politically and economically catastrophic for the government to ever let it permanently fail. Next, the September effect. It is real. September is historically the only calendar month where the U.S. stock market averages a negative return. Dating back to 1928, the S&P 500 has dropped an average of over 1% every September. Theories range from mutual funds selling off losing positions for tax purposes to investors liquidating stocks to pay for their kids' back-to-school tuition.
And did you know that the wealth of the Magnificent Seven outweighs whole countries? The concentration of wealth in the U.S. tech is unprecedented. A tiny group of tech giants, including Apple, Microsoft, NVIDIA, Alphabet, and Amazon, hold a combined market value that is that the entire public stock market of China is greater than the entire public stock market of China, And that's the world's second largest economy. And lastly, the stock market value exceeds the real economy. Historically, a healthy stock market was expected to be worth less than the country's actual economic output, or GDP. Today, the value of the U.S. stock market is significantly higher than the total annual U.S. GDP, driven by intense global demand and a massive capital boom in sectors like artificial intelligence.
So are you silently freaking out about retirement? It may not be as bad as you think. A new survey by insurance broker NFP says nearly half of workers can't even afford to save for retirement at the moment. And a survey from the financial company Schroders says most workers who are participating in company retirement plans think the math is almost hopeless. On average, they think you need $1.2 million saved. Half of them have less than $500,000. These findings are pretty much par for the course. In short, if you are silently or not so silently freaking about retirement, you are not alone.
But here's some good news. These figures, such as the 1.2 million, are not based on your personal information, which is different for everyone. The latest Gallup poll found just 45% of working people expected to have enough money in retirement to be able to retire comfortably. But among those who had actually retired, 82% said that they had enough. The figures have been similar for years, as most of us can retire on much less than we think. Our living costs will typically be much lower than when we were working, and we no longer need to live near our jobs. We can move somewhere cheaper, maybe much cheaper. These are levers that we can pull that change the math in our favor.
That's right. And many people in surveys conducted by AARP and others said that they want to retire right now, right where they are. But you have to wonder if these surveyed would answer the same way if the question explained that in order to do that, they might have to delay their retirement by 3 to 5 or maybe even 10 years and have much less discretionary income than if they moved to a less expensive place. Healthcare costs are a major worry for retirees, understandably. And many who end up needing nursing home will probably end up have it paid by Medicaid. But to put the healthcare fear into context, according to the federal government according to federal government data, average healthcare costs for those over 65 are currently less than $8,000 per person per year. So you can probably retire on less than you think.
Finally, few seem to understand how much money they will actually have in retirement. The 4% rule, which says you should calculate on withdrawing 4% of your savings every year, means that as your investments increase in value, so does your distribution. Another option is an annuity. Right now, a woman of 65 could buy an annuity that will pay her an annual income for life equal to 7.6% of her savings balance. In other words, for each $100,000, she'd get a lifetime income of $7,600 a year, guaranteed. If she wants a cushion against inflation, she can buy an annuity which raises its payouts by, say, 3% every year, and right now the initial payout would be 5.8% of her balance. Or, to put it another way, a woman of 65 with $1.2 million saved could secure a guaranteed lifetime income of $91,000 a year, or $70,000 in the first year, with a 3% raise in every year that follows.
Men get slightly more because they typically die younger. The older you are when you buy the annuity, the bigger the payout. Annuities have downsides because nothing is free. Your money is then locked up in the annuity. You cannot access the capital, and when you die, typically it's gone. There's nothing for your heirs, but are you worried about retirement or about leaving a legacy? And this is on top of Social Security. The average Social Security retirement benefit is currently $25,000 a year. We do not believe these benefits will be cut for lower or middle income retirees because any politician who voted for that would be committing political suicide. I think a compromise to balance the system will probably cut or cap benefits only for higher earners while increasing some taxes on the back end.
Yep.
And many retirees shoot themselves in the foot by taking Social Security early. If you start claiming at 62, your monthly checks will be barely half, 56% of the checks you'd get if you waited until 70. Even when financial advisors and analysts disagree about other things, they are pretty much unanimous on this. For most of us, almost anything we can do to delay the start of Social Security to age 70 will dramatically help our retirement finances. The bad news is that freaking out, silently or otherwise, won't solve the problem. The good news is that you have much more influence over the outcome than you probably realize. And I've got a great story. There's a Kroger on Tom Hill Senior Boulevard that I go by usually on my way back from the Macon office because it's just so convenient.
Yep.
And there's this guy who's a checkout person, and he has long gray hair. And I would get in his line a lot just because he was really fast. He's like a super fast checkout guy, and he's just got a great personality. Well, he called and made an appointment with me because he wanted me to look at his financial situation. And it turns out that his wife has been disabled for years. She can't work. She doesn't make hardly anything anything like from Medicaid or anything. So he does thankfully have health insurance through Kroger. and was waiting to take his Social Security at the latest possible time so that if he dies first, she continues to get more money. But it just blew my mind when he showed me how much he had saved and invested, like $1.2 million as a checkout guy at Kroger.
Yeah.
And he had the total plan figured out. It was so phenomenal. I hugged him. I was like, I don't see this every day. And I just assume you're still working because you have to, but you're working because you want to keep making more money so that your wife is taken care of because she's much younger than you. I wish more people would think like that.
Absolutely.
It was just phenomenal to meet him. And he's still working there. I just saw him the other day. Yeah.
Well, good for him.
I know.
Plus, it gets him out of the house and keeps him vital.
Right.
So that's good.
Plus, if it's giving them that health insurance on top of it, I'm sure that's
a good point.
Oh, yeah. Huge. Yeah.
There's tons of benefits for doing that.
And
Yeah.
Sherry, that's a great story you just told us, but we've got some questions from others that we're going to run through here.
Okay.
And the first one is a gentleman is 57 and gets a pension of $800 a month at age 65. And their financial advisor asked them to move that position as a lump sum over to him. Anyway, I said it was a him, but it's a she. She has other investments that are managed by a financial advisor at another firm. The financial advisor wants her to consider withdrawing that pension as a lump sum and moving it into the retirement account with him. Her other accounts with them have done very well, and she's been able to live off of them for over a decade. And she's just kind of wanting to know what she should do. And I'll just start here and say that the answer, there are so many variables to consider before deciding whether to take your pension as a monthly benefit or as a lump sum. And you may want to consider who this advice is coming from and why they might be giving it to you. When your advisor receives a large influx of capital, such as a large sum pension payment, the income for both the advisor and the firm inevitably increases. This situation can create a conflict of interest that might influence the advisor's judgment. But even before we get into your advisor's motivations, let's figure out whether a lump sum might make sense. The first question is, how much the lump sum would offer you, how much would it be? Because that amount can be compared with the value of receiving about $800 a month starting at age 65. This isn't so much as a pension question as it is an income question.
If your pension offers you $800 a month, that's worth a commuted value, which is the lump sum of money you would need today to reallocate what your pension promises to pay, which is about $160,000 to you at the age of 65. If you don't need the monthly payment, the lump sum is the better option, as you can grow the asset for a larger income later or pass it on to heirs. Keep in mind that health and longevity are also important. If you expect to live a long life, the monthly pension may become more valuable, while serious health concerns could make the lump sum more appealing. You should also confirm whether the pension covers only your life, whether it includes a survivor benefit for a spouse, and whether it has any cost of living adjustment. These are important questions to ask.
Another option is to move the funds from the pension into an IRA. What really matters here is comparing the lifetime income provided by the pension with the potential lifetime income that could come from the lump sum. Pensions are not all the same. It can depend on how that particular pension plan is funded, how the lump sum was calculated, and what your retirement income needs are, which choice can provide the most comfortable income and give you the greatest confidence about the future.
Yep. And she also wants to know if she should shop for a new advisor. The answer here isn't black or white. To truly assess your advisor's motivations, remember that you can always inquire about whether they are a fiduciary at all times. You can also ask them to run the numbers, and you can see why their recommendation may or may not make sense. An advisor can run projections to see what rate of return of the lump sum would need to be to match or exceed the pension, factoring in taxes, fees, inflation, and market risk. Also, your risk tolerance matters because the pension offers predictable income while the lump sum gives you more flexibility, but also shifts the investment risk to you. So if you're in this situation and wondering what choice to make, give us a call at 478-922-8100 and meet with one of our financial advisors. And we can break this down for you and show you some options. The bigger question to me is, why would you want to lock in at a 4% gain when the market is up way more than that?
Agreed. Another question we had was from a 62-year-old who is retired and has a substantial portfolio that's well diversified. He is a savvy investor and understands the market better than most. Most of his investments are in his workplace 401k, which he has maxed out every year while he is working. He has moved the money from the employer-sponsored 401k to an IRA because he wants to convert about $100,000 annually over to a Roth IRA. He has already converted the first $100,000 in January and will do that annually while consciously staying within a reasonable income bracket. He is also aware of the IRMAA calculation for Medicare premiums and surcharge once he reaches age 65. In short, he feels he has a good handle on his retirement plan, investments, income, and the tax implications of each. He doesn't want or need a financial advisor making between 0.5% to 1% of his $7 million life savings and portfolio, but he would like to find a certified financial expert who has tax expertise so that he can check in with them every 6 months.
So he only needs a periodic check-in with someone just to confirm his strategy and direction. The problem is that he can't locate a fiduciary who serves that purpose. To him, it seems like everyone is either a tax specialist, a preparer, or an accountant, or a full-service financial planner who charges 1% of their clients' assets. His big question is, how does he find candidates, and how should he go about interviewing them to find out one that perfectly suits his unique needs?
Yeah, it's a good question. And there are fiduciaries that only do analysis for retainer or hourly fee. And you can find advisors through the CFP board and through its free tool that matches you to fiduciary advisors. Advisors using the assets under management model often charge an industry standard of 1% AUM, or assets under management. Hourly planners charge between $200 and $500, and that depends on the complexity. AUM advisors actively manage portfolios on a continuing basis, whereas project-based advisors and hourly planners may provide advice-only services and leave the portfolio implementation to the client. If you're looking for a certified financial planner who charges hourly for their advice and specializes in retirement planning, CFPs are considered the gold standard in the financial planning as they complete extensive coursework, pass exams, perform thousands of hours of work-related experience, and uphold fiduciary duty to earn their designations.
Indeed, some CFPs offer one-time or on-demand advice, but not every CFP has real tax expertise. Jonathan and I are CFPs, and there are cases where we have to refer to the client to a tax professional, and we do not charge for an appointment. We want to first figure out how we can help you, and if you need help beyond what we can provide, then refer you to an appropriate CPA. Here's a list of detailed questions you can ask us. How do you integrate retirement income planning with tax planning? How do you decide whether and when Roth conversions make sense? How do you help clients manage future required minimum distributions and potential Medicare premium surcharges? How do you decide which accounts to draw from first in retirement? How do you make sure retirement and tax planning stays effective over time through periodic check-ins?
Those are good questions, and based on the specific situations, you can ask if $100,000 is the best amount to be converting from traditional to Roth. Since you're 62 and not subject to higher taxes, you may want to go higher. Often the calculation suggests that converting more earlier works better in the long run.
Another thing to consider is that when you turn 65, you have to sign up for Medicare. And I will tell you, the premium you will pay is based on your income. In my case, 100% of the company's income, lifespan, is registered under my personal name, not the company's, so my Medicare premiums are unreal. Both of these are good questions. If you need a financial advisor to help you through some of these tough issues, I encourage you to give us a call at 478-922-8100. We have offices in Macon and Warner Robins to better serve you.
Yep. All right, shifting gears. They are relentless, and I mean scammers. Are you getting notices from Robinhood saying that someone is trying to change your email address? If there's no money in that account, what do they have to gain? What you should do is delete and block the number. I get notices from PayPal all the time informing me that the money in my account will be taken or lost if I don't update my policies, or some other excuse to get me to call the number or click the link that they have provided. See, once you respond by calling a number purportedly provided by Robinhood or any other platform, you have proven that you are a real live human being, and that makes you and your phone a target. Always contact the company by using the number or contact form provided on their official website. Don't just Google it and say that that's the right number. Go to their official website. Brokerage accounts require sensitive data, including social security numbers, dates of birth, and home address. Thieves can open up credit card accounts or apply for loans in your name or simply sell your data back to the dark web.
Hacked brokerage accounts can also be used for money laundering. Criminals may exploit legitimate accounts to conceal the origins of illicit funds, facilitate cryptocurrency scams, or move stolen money through seemingly legitimate transactions. The scammer obviously doesn't know your account is empty, and while that may come as a disappointment to them at first, they know that access to a personal account like a trading platform has other uses. For starters, they can attempt to use instant deposits to make trades. Some trading accounts provide temporary buying power through instant deposits to the account holder, that the account holder can make trades while the bank transfer is still being processed.
It's still in float. That's right, because the automated clearinghouse, or ACH, bank transfers can take several days to complete. There's a small but valuable window of time during which an account appears to have funds available for trading, even if the money has not yet cleared.
A hacker could exploit that window by using the temporary buying power to trade securities or purchase cryptocurrency before the transfer fails. Another person came across a similar scam when a would-be buyer of his classic car asked him to cash a fake check. Robinhood warns customers about these scams. On their website, they inform users that these scams are incredibly popular and are often found via search engine results or on social media, sometimes as a promotion. And they advise that you should only contact Robinhood support through the app. When you connect to Robinhood support through chat or email, they will never ask you for any account login details or two-factor authentication codes. They also advise that you don't search for or use Robinhood phone numbers through an internet browser because they are possibly scams.
Yep. Scammers will ask you to provide or verify personal information, account login details, or two-factor authentication codes, and then transfer money to them or download malicious software. Crypto accounts, bank accounts, and even eBay accounts are vulnerable to phishing scams where thieves send an email with a link to implore you to click on that link. Rule number 1, don't click the link. By infecting your computer with malware, scammers can gain access to your hard drive and cloud system, providing them with an opportunity to impersonate you using your professional email account, and possibly even accessing your social security number. The phishing may start with an email designed to resemble a legitimate company, and it might contain a fake invoice or merely ask the recipient to review a document that looks like an HTML file, but is actually a downloadable PDF. Right now, there's a lot of scams impersonating DocuSign or similar types of programs. These messages that come with the form simply says, ready for your signature. Delete and block that number. Even if you have just $1 in your account, what scammers ultimately want is access.
All right.
All right. A family member in her 80s recently inherited some money from a distant relative, and she lives modestly and is grateful for the inheritance, but she is unsure of the best way to handle it. She is very risk adverse, especially when it comes to her finances, so she's leaning towards conservative options like CDs or high-yield savings account. The question is, what are the unexpected consequences of receiving an inheritance at her age? Specifically, could inheritance affect her Medicare premiums or change how much her Social Security benefits are taxed?
Receiving an inheritance in your 80s from someone other than a spouse is relatively uncommon. It can happen, for example, if you inherit it from a sibling who never married or had children, but it's far less common than inheriting from a parent or grandparent. Remember, if she inherits a traditional IRA, she has to deal with the 10-year rule. And if she inherits appreciated assets, there will be a step up in cost basis to the date of death value. As an example, she can inherit a property or stock shares and get a step up on cost basis and pay no taxes on the sale.
Which is a great deal. So, and my example is that my dad passed about 12 years ago, and he owned land in a lake house. The property got a step up in cost basis when we filed his death certificate, and we were able to sell the property and divide it between the 5 kids and paid no taxes on this income. I was amazed that my brothers, who are both 10 plus years older than me, had never heard of this, and they thought they were going to owe taxes on all of it.
You know, it's not uncommon for people not to know this if they've never been in the position of receiving an inheritance, like this at least. But back to the story. If she has been living modestly because she couldn't afford to spend more, the inheritance may be money that she can put to good use now. If she's already comfortable with her lifestyle, it may make more sense to think about longer-term estate and legacy planning.
A lot of my clients are passing this sort of money to charities as their kids don't need it and they want to do something positive. I suggest to them that they put this in their will to be donated upon their death, as they may need money for long-term care first.
Another example is a client in her 80s who inherited a large sum of money in an IRA that changed her financial situation overnight. In this client's case, her taxable income increased tenfold in a single year. Her tax bill rose sharply, as did her required minimum distributions. Because her modified adjusted gross income also increased, she ended up paying higher Medicare Part B and Part D premiums, and a larger share of her Social Security benefits became taxable. The inheritance also created a host of administrative tasks. Among them was reviewing tax withholdings on retirement account distributions to make sure it reflected her new tax situation.
Yeah, in 1 year, those withholding elections weren't updated, resulting in a sizable payment to the Internal Revenue Service. Depending on the type of inheritance your relative receives, whether it's cash, investments, or assets from a tax-deferred retirement account, it's worth checking with the bank, brokerage firm, or an accountant to make sure that you're prepared for the next year's tax seasons. The CPA may need to adjust withholdings from retirement distributions, pensions, or even Social Security benefits to avoid that unexpected tax bill. It's also important to be aware of the potential for higher Medicare premiums. Medicare income-related monthly expenses, or IRMA, which is a surcharge on top of the standard B and Part D premiums. It is based on income from the previous 2 years. After all, even with a financial windfall, nobody wants to be blindsided by a large tax bill or higher Medicare cost. An inheritance can turn a simple, low-tax retirement into a complicated financial situation very quickly.
Before investing the inheritance, preferably conservative investments given her age, she should make sure she has enough set aside in an emergency fund to cover unexpected expenses. If that's really taken care of, she can think about how to put the rest of the money to work. Given her risk tolerance, a conservative approach makes sense. That's especially true if she lives modestly and may need the money one day for unforeseen costs like a major home repair, medical bills, or long-term care. Certificates of deposit, CDs, are one solid option, particularly if she builds a CD ladder. Laddering simply means buying CDs with staggered maturity dates. For example, one that matures in 6 months, another in a year, another in 18 months. This strategy allows her to earn interest while giving her periodic access to the money, whether to reinvest it or use it for her needs change, if her needs change. We see a lot of these cases and can invest the inherited money based on the risk of the tolerance of the person inheriting this money, or whether they need to use this money to pay off debt or supplement their income. Every case is unique.
And I actually have a client that is doing this with the laddered, and they have both non-qualified and qualified, but since they're taking only the profits from the CD that year, it's going to be taxed the same, whether it's from an IRA or qualified, since that whole portion that he's taken out that year is being used to supplement his yearly income.
Yeah.
You've been listening to Your Money, brought to you by Lifespan Wealth Management, proudly serving Middle Georgia for over 30 years. Our mission? Helping folks just like you plan for a secure and stress-free retirement. Need a trusted financial advisor? Call us today at 478-922-8100 and schedule your complimentary consultation at our Macon or Warner Robins office. Want to learn more? Visit us anytime at retirerelax.com. Because when you plan smart, you can retire and relax. And here's something extra. We offer free educational seminars for the community. If your group needs a guest speaker, give us a call and let's make it happen. That's 478-922-8100. Now, let's get back to the show.
All right. One other case. Is it possible to complete a credit card debt settlement negotiation without ending up with bad credit? This person is considering working with a credit counseling agency or enrolling in a hardship program. He currently has $35,000 in credit card debt. Ouch. From his research, he believes bankruptcy is generally intended for more severe financial situations involving lawsuits, wage garnishments, or collection actions. At the moment, the only negative factor affecting his credit is the high credit utilization rate. But he's also curious about the long-term impact of bankruptcy. So let's discuss the effects of bankruptcy on your credit and how long the negativity remains on your credit score, and how does bankruptcy appear to lenders.
Some lenders may automatically deny applicants with bankruptcies, collections, charge-offs, or late payments on their credit reports. However, if you worked with a reputable settlement or debt repayment program, say through GreenPath, is generally viewed more favorably than a bankruptcy filing. The downside to this is that they often require participants to close their credit card accounts or limit their use, and you need to understand that the length of time a line of credit has been open is one variable that makes up your credit score. It's a balancing act at this point, kind of like having your cake and eating it too. In 1989, I went to work for Consumer Credit Counseling Service in Atlanta and was vice president. We had 8 branches, and our counselors saw 4 to 5 people a day to help them get into a debt management plan. Yes, this made them shut down all of their credit accounts to pay them off, but it changed their lives for the better. If you are having problems with paying down debt, it would be worth your time to call CCCS and get a phone appointment with one of their counselors. The call is free.
Is it Consumer Credit Counseling still, or is it GreenPath?
I think it's both. There are some that have remained CCCS, like where I was, and then there's some have converted to GreenPath.
I got you. Okay.
Good advice, Sherry. A bad credit score hurts your ability to take out a loan, rent housing, and even qualify for certain jobs. I'm worried about his credit card debt, and I'm worried about his approach. If you have $35,000 in credit card debt, not only should you cut up your cards, you should take the pieces and burn them on a pyre and vow never to make that mistake again. What you should definitely not do is keep those cards only to run up more debt in the future. Most issuers calculate the minimum monthly payment as somewhere between 1% and 2% of the balance plus interest. If you make only the minimum payment with an APR of 22%, it would take you more than 20 years to pay off this debt, with your total interest over that time exceeding $40,000. If you focused on paying their credit cards off, or if he focused on paying his credit cards off, say 3 years at the same APR, you would need to pay more than $1,300 a month.
That's right. That tears up a budget in a heartbeat.
It really does.
You know, a question I have is, are these debts due to chronic overspending, FOMO and YOLO like we talked about last week, or a one-time emergency like a healthcare event? There's no point engaging with a debt management company in order to get rid of this $35,000 if you don't want to do some serious soul searching about how you got into this hole in the first place. This is not because I believe you should indulge in shame or blame. It's because you need to face up to whatever got you into this situation and take responsibility for your own actions. Like I said, last week we discussed the real cost of FOMO and YOLO. Brutal honesty with yourself is critical. I would say that anything that gets you moving forward is a positive step. Bankruptcy is considered a last resort, and he's right on that, because of its long-term consequences on your credit score, especially if your debt payments and your expenses exceed your income. Chapter 7 can eliminate most of the unsecured debt if you qualify, and will usually impact your credit score for more than 10 years, while Chapter 13 restructures the debt into 3 to 5 year repayment plans and typically affects your score for the same 10 years.
Well, your primary home, your car, as well as your retirement accounts are exempt from being liquidated in Chapter 7. Your other assets are fair game. That includes luxury goods like expensive jewelry and art, vacation homes, rental properties, and other bank accounts, stock, and cryptocurrencies. Life insurance proceeds and property settlement payouts received within 180 days after filing Chapter 7 are also considered part of your bankruptcy estate. If you have mounting credit card debt, please stop the spending and work to get yourself on the right side of the balance sheet. Credit card debt is like a weight tied around your neck, and once you get rid of that weight, it is truly liberating. And I will just never forget the story of this guy that came to see me back when I was working there. He was an executive for a major company, and he married a woman who wanted everything big and new. And he gave into that. And so they had a giant mortgage. They had 2 car payments. They had massive credit card debt because she wanted to redecorate, constantly redecorating everything and just spending and spending. And she didn't work. It was all on him. And I believe he was a lawyer. He was with a firm in Atlanta. And I will never forget, he came to see me, and he was thinking literally of killing himself. It was that depressing and horrifying, the situation that he was in.
And debt can put you there.
Yes. And so we talked through it. We got him on a repayment plan, and then he started negotiating with his creditors, and that's not mentioned in this article. But there are a lot of times where creditors will negotiate with you with a cash payout.
That's right.
And so he went through and did the repayment plan, but on top of that, he offered payouts where they gave him 25, 50% off the balance just to get him off the table. And so that was life-changing for him. But literally going from thinking you almost want to kill yourself because you have so much debt to being debt-free, which, by the way, his wife left him when he quit spending money. That was a whole nother story.
Right.
But, I mean, I just saw cases that were just astronomically horrible, but he made it through the other side.
But, you know, I had did you want to say something, Corey?
Oh, I was just going to say, with this whole credit card debt, I knew someone in Florida that put a car on a credit card.
Oh, my God.
Because they had a card that for the first month you got 10% back. And they said, well, that's 10% discount on the car. I said, if you have the cash to pay off the car in that month, then it is a 10% discount. But you're not beating the dealerships.
That's sickening.
Well, what happened? Did he pay the card off, or did he?
They were able to pay off half of it, and then they were still stuck with almost $10,000 on the car.
And see, it's not a bad thought to do that, but go ahead and have a plan in place, like a line of credit from their,
or at least
for
use
a car loan from your bank.
Or use an interest-free card
Right.
for a year and then finance it.
Yeah. If you
get
had
the
the
points.
cash,
There's
that would have
options
been
there that he didn't take into
a
consideration.
10% discount.
Yeah.
But if you don't have the cash, the interest that you're going to end up paying on that $10,000 is going to eat up that
Terrible.
10% that you saved.
But Sherry, I remember another one when you were at CCCS. There was a pilot from one of the major airlines, and he was way upside down. They had like every kid in their house had a brand new car,
Right.
big house. But the nice thing is, we talked about someone that's in this kind of position. They need to take responsibility for that, how they got there, and how they're going to get out of it. He actually did, and I remember you coming home and talking about it. It was like one of those big success stories. He sold the house, sold the cars, downsized everybody in the house, and got himself right-sized, and did it in about 2 years. But it's just a matter because he took responsibility for how he got there, and he said, according to you, he talked to the entire family about how things were going to get changed. But you know, the thing is, once you get yourself out of that kind of debt, you've really got to be committed not to getting back into it. I see too many people who want to do consolidation loans, but they don't tear up the credit cards. They don't change their spending habits, and nothing's going to change. It's just you're going to have another bill or two or three. So
what's really sad to me is what people are attracted to, and they want to live in this specific neighborhood and have this specific kind of house and be seen driving a whatever car.
Right.
And it's like none of that matters. When it comes down to it, what matters is how are you doing as a husband or a wife or as a parent or a child? I mean, what is your life really about? How does that? I don't know how that gets into so many people's brains. And I think it starts when you're very young. I don't know if you remember the couple, we lived in the Landings. They had twins.
yeah,
And when the twins turned 16, they let them pick out their first car.
Yeah.
Guess what they got?
one was a Porsche and one was a BMW.
Brand new. So our kids are looking at them going, why don't we have new cars? And I'm like, are you kidding me? I don't even have a new car.
Yeah.
You can earn some money and help buy your own car.
And by the way, go cut the grass.
Right. It was like, really? But the kids, they drove so recklessly that the son that got whichever one did he have the Porsche? Or
Yeah, the Porsche got wrecked and they bought him another one.
Yeah, he's smashed it into a ditch, driving too fast. It's a miracle he didn't get killed. And they took him out and bought him a new one. Can you get over this? That was just 5 minutes from here.
But it's that I think we've gotten into a position in America, and it's not new because we talked about Keeping Up with the Joneses was created back in the 1920s. It's not new, but it's just more prevalent today because we're so inundated with social media and
Right.
Oh, look how bad my life is because I can't take a trip or I can't buy a boat. But what you're not seeing is you're not seeing the debt that these people have on the back end. Not everyone's going out and paying cash for this stuff. Mm-hmm. It's like a gambler coming back from Vegas. He'll tell you about the big score he had while he was there. He won't tell you that he didn't bring a dime back in his pocket.
And this just reminded me, I just remembered the other part of that story of those two kids. So after the son wrecked the car and got a brand new one, the wife left him and filed for divorce and got half of his money.
Oh, gosh. Anyway, debt's bad.
Very bad. All righty. This is fun. benefits seniors are entitled to but often forget to claim. Did you know many seniors are paying too much for their basics like car insurance, medicine, and groceries? It's not because deals aren't there, it's because they don't tell you. The truth is, most companies actually offer secret discounts for those over 55. All you have to do is ask. To stop you from spending more money than you should, here are the best discounts and benefits available in 2026. We're not just talking about the everyday restaurant and retail discounts. These are significant savings on things seniors use and need most. So, enjoy entertainment for less. Who doesn't want to have fun and save money? Enjoy outings even more with senior discounts on various entertainment options like AMC Theaters offer 30% off for seniors over 60. Regal Cinemas do the same thing. Kindle eBooks, ARP members save 50% off, which I'd never heard of that. Ticketmaster, seniors 65 and over enjoy reduced prices on tickets. U.S. museums, seniors 50 and over enjoy discounts and special offers. And the National Park Service, a senior pass for people aged 62 and over, gives them access to over 2,000 federal recreation sites. And I have clients who have actually used that and really enjoyed it.
Cut your auto insurance payments by $400 or more a year. Many seniors end up paying far too much for their car insurance. The problem is that most fail to compare and simply stick with their current policies that they automatically renew year after year. If you're over 45 and pay more than $38 a month for car insurance, you may be overpaying on your coverage. Yet, thanks to this new website, most seniors can take advantage of $400 plus a year savings on car insurance. Here's how to quickly see if you're being overcharged or paying too much, and it takes just a couple minutes. Pull up coverage.com. It's a free site that you can compare offers for you. 2, answer the questions on the page. And 3, it'll spit out a bunch of insurance offers for you. Let us know if this is helpful to you.
Yeah, I've never heard of this before. I'm going to try it out myself. Senior homeowners may qualify for gutter guard discounts. Not very exciting, but if your gutters have ever overflowed during a heavy rain, you've seen the warning signs. And when they're neglected, they can cause thousands of dollars in water damage, roof leaks, and even foundation problems. In a recent survey, nearly 40% of people said clogged or poorly maintained gutters had already caused damage to their home. That's why smart homeowners are getting ahead of the problem now with a simple upgrade. This new service is helping homeowners connect with trusted local installers for gutter guards. They keep the leaves and the debris out so rainwater flows freely, and your maintenance drops to almost nothing. The upgrade is quick, budget-friendly, and can even boost your home's value. And we did this at our last house, and it was a relief to never have to worry about it.
It was terrifying to getting up off that ladder and trying to scrape all that junk out of there. I agree. Next up, don't pay for another costly home repair out of pocket again. We actually did this with our last home that we owned. Imagine your AC or washing machine suddenly breaking down. It's a frustrating disruption, finding a reliable repair person, scheduling and making sure they show up, and don't forget the real pain, the financial hit. Unexpected home repairs can be catastrophic to the finances of most seniors who are on a fixed monthly budget. Your home insurance will not cover these expenses, so you're left with a heavy repair bill. A home warranty can save you a lot of time by protecting you from unexpected covered home repairs. It can cover most of your appliances and can help replace them with brand new ones. But please do research before selecting a vendor. Choose one that has high marks from existing clients on the feedback page.
That's right.
And how many, we had like a washer and a dryer and a dishwasher, and I can't remember how many things went out that year that we had that home.
It was the home that one of the homes that we were flipping and living in. We stayed there for 2 years, but we bought the home warranty with it at closing, and I think everything died in that house within a year.
It was unbelievable in 1 year.
It was crazy.
That was worth the money.
Yeah.
The $200 or what we paid for it.
Yep. All right. Seniors can now fly business class for the price of economy. Think you're getting the best flight deals by checking airline websites directly? Think again. Airlines count on seniors sticking to their familiar booking routines while they hide their deepest discounts. Capital One Shopping has a free browser extension that does two simple but game-changing things. It automatically finds the hidden flight deals airlines don't advertise, and it compares prices across hundreds of travel sites to ensure you're not overpaying. Here's a quick example. The author of this article was about to book a 1,200 flight to visit his family, but this tool found the same route for $874 on a different site. Same airline, same seat, $353 less. So before you book your next flight, do yourself a favor and get this tool. Last year alone, travelers saved over $1 billion using it. With savings like these, seniors can afford those business class upgrades that they've always wanted. You don't want to miss out. Trust me.
Next, take advantage of health discounts. American seniors are overspending on their healthcare needs. From routine medications to essential wellness products, the costs can quickly add up, creating financial strain for many. Fortunately, there are numerous programs designed specifically to help seniors manage these costs more effectively. For example, Walgreens offers a 20% savings online and in-store for seniors age 55 plus. My Walgreens membership is required, but is easy and free to sign up. RX Free Card. This card offers discounts on prescription medication for seniors. AARP Prescriptions Savings. Members on this program can save an average of 61% on FDA-approved prescriptions that are not covered by insurance.
Yep, as a senior, making the most of your budget is crucial. Before you head out for your next shopping trip, remember that there are superb discounts that you shouldn't miss, from groceries to clothing and even medications. Taking advantage of these offers can make a big difference in how much you spend. Like at Goodwill, if you shop there, you can enjoy a 10% discount every Tuesday if you're older than 60. And Amazon Prime, seniors on Medicaid or SNAP can enjoy full Prime benefits for $6.99 a month instead of the usual $14.99. Kohl's, Wednesdays are better with a 15% discount for customers 60 and older. And Michael's offers a 10% discount for those 55 and older. Ross, Dress for Less 55 program gives you 10% off your purchases on Tuesdays. And Walgreens provides discounts for those 55 plus or AARP, making health and wellness more affordable. And if you don't feel like cooking, don't worry. There are plenty senior-friendly dining meals out there. From quick bites to more formal settings, plenty of restaurants offer great options for seniors looking to dine out. Just remember, offers can vary by location and it might change, so always check ahead. Let's see, McDonald's, Steak and Shake, Wendy's, Golden Corral, Subway, Burger King, Old Country Buffet, and more offer discounts. Just ask.
I have 3 clients that eat at Golden Corral every day for lunch. They snack on a little thing in the morning with a cup of coffee. They go and sit there and meet with all their friends and hang out for like 2 hours and eat off the buffet. And then they go home at night and eat like a little snack before they go to bed. And so they don't buy any groceries. They don't cook at all. And the first time I heard somebody tell me this, I was like, really? But they do have a big variety. They don't eat the same thing. So I just couldn't imagine doing that.
Yeah, one time we had a big family get together for Thanksgiving. Now, we always lived in Florida, so we were away from our family. But they were all down in Florida visiting us and other family. And there was probably 20-something of us all together. And for Thanksgiving, we just didn't have the space to feed and cook food for all 20 of us. And we all went to Golden Corral for Thanksgiving.
That's just not a bad idea.
So we had, our families are pretty big eaters. So all 20 of us, they put 3 tables together.
Oh, wow.
And then we just all had, and they do a Thanksgiving special. So they have turkey and ham on Thanksgiving. Right. And we all ate there it was like $12 each.
And didn't have to do any dishes afterward.
No dishes, no prep. It was worth the money.
That's a good one. All righty, up next, stay at your favorite hotel for less. Did you know that your next trip could cost way less than you think? Many aren't aware of the special offers hotels have for seniors. These discounts can make a significant difference in travel costs, so it's worth checking out the specific details and availability when planning your next trip. Hilton, Best Western, Choice Hotels, Marriott Bonvoy, and others offer discounts from 7 to 10%. As a senior, saving money is key, especially with car stuff. Before you get your car fixed or checked, know that many places offer discounts for seniors. This means you can spend less on things like oil changes or new tires. Using these deals helps your money go further and keeps your car running as well. Before you roll into a service garage, call in advance to inquire. And if you enjoy exploring new places, taking vacations, or visiting family, always remember to check for travel discounts. Travelers age 55 and over can unlock additional perks and savings from various travel providers. A few we know about are American Airlines, Amtrak, Alaska Airlines, Southwest Airlines, and Hertz Rental Cars.
Want to go on a cruise? If you're 55 or older, you're in luck. Major cruise lines offer senior discounts, making cruising a fantastic and affordable option for exploring the world in comfort. Royal Caribbean, Carnival Cruise Lines, and Norwegian Cruise Line, these offer special senior rates on select cruises for passengers 55 and older.
You know, seemed like a fluffy article, but it's really good because people do forget to ask for the discounts.
I need to start asking everywhere I go.
That's right. Old woman. All right. Let's talk about what a payable on death or a POD bank account is. Setting up a POD designation on your bank account as payable on death ensures that your loved ones have access to your money after you die.
And then it goes to the right people.
That's right. And if you want to make sure that your loved one receives your assets after you pass away, many people take steps to make that happen, usually by choosing a beneficiary for their retirement accounts or insurance policies. But few people consider what will happen to their bank accounts. With a POD account, you can easily solve that problem. POD lets you choose beneficiaries for your bank accounts, ensuring that your heirs will get their access to the money after you pass away.
You can easily turn any existing bank account into a POD, and by doing so, it can lift a major burden from your loved ones. As beneficiaries, they'll get immediate access to the money they may need for things like medical or funeral expenses without the burden of having to go through probate court, and avoiding probate is a big deal. So how do payable on death accounts work? To convert your account to a POD, you simply have to complete a bank form in which you choose a spouse, a friend, a family member, or even a charity as your beneficiary. You can also choose multiple beneficiaries. But let me throw a word of caution into this discussion. We've seen a case where the parent decided to give all 4 of the daughters equal access to the account through the POD. As soon as the mom died, one of the daughters raided the entire bank account and ghosted the others. And that is a true story. Converting a bank account to a POD doesn't give anyone access to the money while you're still living, even in the unfortunate event that you're incapacitated or otherwise need help covering your expenses. But it does give them immediate access after you pass on. They simply need to show ID and the death certificate to the bank in order to receive the funds immediately.
Yeah, you simply request a payable on death form or a beneficiary designation form from your bank. Fill out the contact information for yourself and any joint owners on your account. Then choose one or more beneficiaries and add their contact information and social security number. If applicable, choose other details such as the percentage each beneficiary will receive after and your contingent beneficiaries. And that probably would have helped save that family where that one daughter raided the account.
Yes.
And make sure all your account holders sign the form. If submitting by mail, notarization may be required.
Do you need a payable on death bank account? Not necessarily, but it is essential to if you want this money to go to your intended heirs or beneficiaries. If you don't, the funds could get tied up in probate court, costing your loved ones anywhere from $1,500 and up in fees, or cause the money to be distributed to your creditors first. Like your will and beneficiaries, it's also crucial to make updates to your POD forms from time to time so they reflect your current wishes. There are some occasions when you may need to make a change. Situations where your beneficiary passes away, or you want the POD to match the will, or perhaps a significant change in your account balance. There are lots of reasons, but you just don't need to forget about this account and why you put the POD designation on there to begin with.
Adding a loved one as a beneficiary to a POD account is not the only way to give them access to your deposits. Another option is to add them as a joint account owner. The main difference between the two choices is that the joint owners have access to the funds during your lifetime. The joint account owner would have all of the same rights and responsibilities for the account as you, and they can use the funds to cover your expenses if you become incapacitated. But they can also withdraw money at any time to cover their own expenses without your permission or knowledge. For those reasons, you may only want to name someone a joint owner if you fully trust them to manage your money responsibly and, if necessary, make decisions on your behalf.
And I'm going to make a point about this. We have just a little time left. If someone in your family has dementia or has the beginnings of dementia, make sure that all of their legal documents are up to date.
Absolutely.
And where all of their bank accounts are, where all the investment accounts are. You need to create a list of all of this stuff at the very beginning. Don't wait until it's late and they don't remember what's where.
And I would put a plug in here for the Life Book. We don't charge anything for it, but it's a fantastic tool for you to use so you can catalog all this stuff and have it in one place. So when the inevitable happens, you're not searching through, drawers and kitchen cabinets and things, trying to find
And
all
boxes
this.
of paperwork.
That's right. And once you get it completed, you're going to feel a great sense of relief, and then just go through it once a year and just make sure it is still current. But anyway, we're closing in on the last few seconds of the show. And as always, we do appreciate you taking time out of your schedule to be with us. And if you ever have a question you'd like for us to address in a future broadcast, please email me at randy@rfmoney.com.
Thanks for listening to Your Money, produced by Lifespan Wealth Management. As financial advisors, the main thing they do is provide retirement planning and advice and manage their clients' investment accounts. If you're looking for a financial advisor, please contact their office at 478-922-8100 to set up your complimentary consultation. You can learn more about them by visiting their website, retirerelax.com. And if you have a question or a topic that you would like them to cover in next week's broadcast, you can email Randy at rfmoney.com. They look forward to connecting with you next week. Have a great weekend, everyone. Securities and investment advisory services offered through Osaic Wealth Incorporated, member FINRA SIPC. Osaic Wealth is separately owned, and other entities and or marketing names, products, or services referenced here are independent of Osaic Wealth.